Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Baggers Podcast 25. I'm your host, Henry Baggers from Baggers Podcast 25, and you are.
Louis from the Perth Blue Baggers pod.
Today, we're privileged to be joined by former Carlton player, 99 career gamer, one career game at St Kilda, Sam Rowe. How are you, mate?
Yeah, very good. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. Thank you for coming on.
Not a problem at all.
This is
I've
definitely the biggest
heard great things, guys.
great things. That's lovely to hear. We're doing an interview with you today, so we'll jump straight into our first question from Sauce HQ. So it's a fan question from him. So you were moved all over the ground, especially early in your career. What's the hardest position to play, and where did you enjoy playing the most?
Yeah, you're right. I did sort of play everywhere. It was a bit of like when I came to the Blues, I was drafted as a forward, and I loved playing forward at the time, and but I didn't quite really make it as a forward. I think it was maybe I can't remember what year. I think after 1 year with Mick Malthouse, he sort of basically said, I had to play every game the following year to keep my spot on the list. And I think I'd played maybe 10 games that year before in and out as a forward. So we sort of pretty quickly sort of realised that there was potentially a spot in defence. So trained to that and had a good crack at it. And really, it suited me. I really loved actually, being a defender. It suited maybe my, my style of play and my type of play. But in the end, I loved being a defender, and sort of really made my career as a backman. But playing as a forward in a struggling Blues team is not too much fun. So definitely, as a defender, I much preferred.
Yeah, definitely. Very well said. Question from Big Billy Wilson. Has Sam Rowe met Billy Wilson?
No, I don't think so. I've met a bunch of the new guys, but no, I haven't met Billy Wilson yet. I don't think.
All good. This is a question from myself, straight to you. I think I've got 3 or 4 questions to ask.
No
Who were
worries,
your
Henry.
favourite teammates at Carlton, and do you remain close to any?
A lot of my best mates are Blues men. So, when I was playing, my good mates were the crew that I was playing with, like Simon White, Dave Yellard, a good Perth boy over there, was a close friend, still is. Mark Murphy, Tommy Bell, another guy I played with who actually works for me now, which is good fun. There is a good crew of us. There's about maybe 12 or 13 or 14 or so that try and have an annual catch up from the era that I played in. So, I'm very happily say, some of my lifelong friends are bluesmen that I met when I was playing at the Baggers. So we absolutely, we enjoyed ourselves. Unfortunately, we didn't bloody win many games when I was there. But yeah, we definitely had a great friendship and a great bond, and that'll remain forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Would have been, unbelievable. The next question is actually from my dad. He read over all these questions and just updated one and snuck one in there. You packed a lot of ups and downs into 100 games, a cancer scare, an ACL, elevation to the leadership group, high finishes in Best and Fairest, and delisted on 99 games, which I'd like to see. How do you look back on your career?
I look back on my career now with a lot of pride, and I'm proud of myself, and it probably was more than I ever thought I'd be able to achieve. I was in and out a lot, and it took a fair while to get that first game going, and then as a young kid, you probably just everything was about getting that first game, and then when you get that taste for it, everything starts becoming about it starts to be about winning as a team rather than just getting games of footy. So look, in the end, I'm very proud of my career. I wouldn't change it. Would have loved to have had some more success as a team, but that wasn't to be. And I think I'm still really yeah, I'm still really content, and I think I know that I gave my absolute best to try and get the best out of myself, and I'll always be very grateful to Carlton and to St Kilda and the Swans back in the day when I first started as well. So I'm very thankful to all the opportunities that I got along the way.
Yeah, 100%. Where's our next question? Well, Louis just Wi-Fi's cut out. That's all right. He'll join back in a minute.
No worries.
What can you remember about your debut? You had 11 disposals and a goal versus Collingwood.
Yeah, I remember. I remember running out. One of my good friends I should have mentioned, Nick Dygan, the great Dykes. I remember he said before my first game, he said, "Oh, when you run out, take it all in because it's pretty epic when you first run out." And I think there was 80 odd thousand against Collingwood. I think it was round 2 or round 3, maybe something like that. So I remember running out and just sort of feeling and hearing the buzz. And I remember it was a pretty close game. I think we lost by a couple of kicks. And I think I played all right. I remember thinking I played all right during that game, during my debut game. And I just remember sitting on the bench in the last quarter and Collingwood got a run on, and I just remember feeling that like the sort of the sound around that stadium was pretty unbelievable, really. And I thought that's when I was sort of the hair stood up on the back of my neck. I was like, oh, geez, this is pretty unreal. this AFL gig. So that's probably my memories of my debut.
That's unbelievable. A lot of young kids' dreams out there. So hopefully one day we see a few people listening to this pod out there on the MCG. But we'll get into our next question. Who's your favourite player to watch at the club right now?
Oh, look, I have loved watching Charlie go about it. He's been going bloody well, but probably like everyone, my new favourite is Big Tommy de Koning. He's playing like a really big boy, which I love. I've really loved seeing before he got injured last year, he was starting to play this type of footy, and he started this year again. So they're my two at the moment. So I've always loved when Charlie's in full flight. He's epic. He's unbelievable. I love seeing him go about it. And yeah, Kongi at the moment, he's doing some really good things. I'm just loving his presence out there on the ground. He's unbelievable at the moment. So probably those two.
Yeah. Yep. Last question from me, and then I'll hand over to Louis. From Flag Hop, so obviously Hawthorn supporter. You're lucky you got a question on me. But favourite team to play against?
It would be. It still would be. Collingwood, Richmond, Essendon, the big teams. Those games were always big. No matter if we weren't going well or they weren't going well, it doesn't matter. Like those games are always huge. There was always this amazing feeling in the lead up to them. Like they were always big games. We had to win them, no matter the ladder position. So really, those the other three big teams, Melbourne teams, although Hawks are catching up pretty quick at the moment for the Hawkball guys. Yeah, I would say one of those three. They were always good games.
Yeah. Over to you now, Louis.
Okay, a question from me. What's life been like post AFL? Are you still involved at the game at any level?
No, life post AFL has been really good. I played some local footy for 2 or 3 years after I finished. So Simon White, one of the guys I mentioned before, played with him at a club called Doncaster East, which was good fun. Just having run around and a bit of a kick, but that's it from there. I haven't been playing for a couple of years now, or maybe even 3 years this year. But I've got my own business now, which I started a few years ago, which is going really well, but that takes up a lot of my time. And I got a couple of young kids, so I'm not playing footy or coaching or anything like that. But I am a big Blues supporter. I still go to probably quite a few games. I'm sponsoring the club in some ways as well, which is always good to be able to in some small way contribute back to the club that gave me so much. So it's so really I'm just a Blues nuffy now, guys. Like you guys.
Yeah, welcome.
Yep, 100%.
This next one, technically it's from you, Henry. Can you tell us about your junior footy? I believe you grew up not too far away from Walla. Did you play any Hume League or Ovens and Murray?
Yeah, you cut out the start there, but I grew up in a little country town called Walla Walla. Was that a question from you, Henry? Was it?
Yeah, I live.
Do you know that part of the world, or?
Yeah, I live near there, sort of.
Yeah, right. So, I grew up in Walla, so I played in the Hume League. But Walla have folded recently, or they've merged with. There's about 3 clubs that have merged. The Wallbundry, Walla. What is it? The Wallbundry, Walla Rand. I think it is Giants or something they're called now. So, which is a bit sad that the Walla Footy Club's folded these days. But I grew up in a little country town, so I played Hume League until I was 17, and then played the Murray Bushrangers in it was called the TAC Cup, whatever it's called now, the under 18 competition. And I think I played a couple of games for North Albury in that year. So you had to be when you're on the Bushrangers list, you had to be affiliated with an O&M club. So I played a couple of games for North Albury as well. So yep, I've certainly that was definitely my life, the Hume League.
Yep. Cool. Next question. Mature age recruits are all the rage now, but not common when you were drafted. Do you think your opportunity had passed you before Carlton came knocking?
Look, I probably did think it was almost gone. So I started my career as a rookie in Sydney. I didn't play any games. I was there for a couple of years, and then got the flick. So I moved to Adelaide because my dream was certainly still to get back in the AFL. So I wanted to go play the best footy that I could. So I moved to Adelaide. And I'd been there I was there for 4 years, but after probably a couple of years, I probably thought, oh, geez, maybe this is not going to quite happen for me again. And I was just, enjoying playing footy and, just living my life. But sort of the Carlton was sniffing around the year before they ended up drafting me, but then it didn't come through, which was disappointing. But then that probably did remotivate me to give it another good crack. And I think I must have played a reasonable year of footy over in the Sandford and enough to get drafted, which was, it was awesome because it was something that I'd always wanted to do, and sort of I was almost there, and then almost getting a taste for it again, and it was great that. The recruiting manager at the time, Shane Rogers, believed in me and gave me the opportunity. So I was, very thankful. And then, my focus turned to, doing absolutely everything I could to make the most of it.
Yep. Sounds good there. So we got a question from a fan, Taz from TNT Footy. Big fan of the channel. Not a question, but was a big fan of Sam Rowe. There we go. There's a compliment.
Well, that's good. Thanks, TNT.
Yeah. What did line meetings look like in your day? From Mendoza 80.
What did they look like? Look, I think probably quite similar to now. There was actually probably from what I hear now, there's probably a bit less meetings, but look, they were pretty in depth, and I think they always need to be the line meetings. The line meetings are generally they're meant to be informative. They're meant to be learning. It's as a group, so there's generally no one's getting smashed in those line meetings on performance. If you're if you had a bad game, you need to be reviewed. That was generally always done one-on-one, or you always had games reviewed one-on-one, but the hard stuff would come one-on-one generally. But line meetings were a good opportunity to talk about it as a line and as a group, and try to understand, what we did well, or what we didn't do well, and how everyone was contributing or not contributing to what we were trying to achieve. So line meetings were generally, they were good. They were good constructive chats, really. So between the coaches and the players, but they would happen all the time. So sometimes they were more informal, sometimes they were more formal with footage and stuff like that. But I think I've had some really good assistant coaches over the time as well, and they were, the line meetings were, very important sort of aspects of learning, I think, as a footballer.
Yes, sure. So 100 games for 28 wins. Is there one particular win that you look back on as the best?
Geez, that's not a good stat, is it? 28%. There is probably, it's funny, as you sort of longer out of the game, they all sort of just merge into sort of moments in games rather. But there's one I do really remember is we played Port Adelaide. I think it might have been Cade Simpson's 250th, I think, and Michael Jamison's 150th or something like that. They played in the milestones with the same game. I think we hadn't been going well. Anyway, I think we came from behind and Cruz kicked a goal right at the end, and we won that game. And it was, it was just, I think, in a year when we were probably struggling again, and being able to win on the milestones of a couple of guys that we really, that we loved. That still stands out for me. But you do. When I think about winning games, I still think about the times when we beat Essendon or we beat Collingwood or Richmond. They're the ones that sort of tasted the best. They tasted the sweetest, those wins. So you still remember. I can still remember the feeling of when the siren goes and you beat one of those clubs. I can still sort of imagine that feeling with what it was like. It was pretty bloody good.
Yeah, I bet. Next question. Was there a specific pre-game routine you had on game day?
Not really. I sort of, as I got older, and probably more experienced, I started to not worry about the pre-game routines as much. I used to, I don't know, eat a block of chocolate the night before the game, and I don't know, nothing too much really. I used to wear red jocks there for a while for I think when I was at Sydney, Adam Goods used to wear the same jocks or something every week. And then when I was a young player, I was like, oh well, if it's good enough for Goodsy, I'll do it. So I did that for a while, and then realised, well, that doesn't make much of a difference. But no, nothing too crazy. I think I did like to be well prepared and be well organised with what I thought about the game, and have my body in the best condition position that I could, and then try to, as much as possible, just when it gets to game day, stay nice and relaxed, and then wind yourself up when it's closer towards the game.
Yeah. Good thing that you don't eat grass before the game.
Who was that? That was, yeah.
Rowe.
Yeah, that's right. That was interesting. Yeah, it's a bold. Yeah, no, I haven't gone to the grass tactic, but anyway, he's playing good footy, so maybe there's something in it.
Maybe. So, do you have any current advice for the current day Carlton?
Well, getting a win would be nice. Look, advice. Look, I don't know. I think it seems like now I understand what it's like being a frustrated supporter.
Yeah.
But look, I think they need to relish in the pressure a little bit more. It seems like at the moment when the pressure's on. Maybe they're going away from what they're trying to do, or so I think they need some strong direction and leadership. And I know there's Cripper and Weeders, and these guys are bloody good leaders. But I think sort of the group outside of the top five probably need to stand up a little bit more at the moment. So I think you'd hope that group of players are sort of recognising that it's up to them. Not so much. It just can't be Charlie and Cripper and Weeders and Walshy every week. It's the group outside of that. So I think my advice would be to those players, take the responsibility of actually changing the games, because it's not the big 4 or 5 every week. It can't be them. It's actually the bulk of it's everyone else. So I would want them to take responsibility for the performance and not the big guys. So
Yep, completely agree with that one. Henry, you can finish off with the last.
Oh, I'll finish off. What question are we up to now?
Last one.
All right. We're on the last 4. Okay. Another comment rather than a question. Carlton supporters can be hard to please, but just about everyone has good things to say about your time in the navy blue. I hope you felt appreciation from the supporters. There you go.
Oh, I did. I still do love sometimes when, I went the other night, and so you still just said, it's really nice to hear supporters still say that they appreciated my work or liked my work to a degree. So I do still cop it a little bit sometimes from supporters, which is funny. But no, it is good. I certainly felt the love, and I love the footy club, and I hope we can win some games and win premierships. And I'll just be a very excited supporter and try and jump on the back of those celebrations.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can see it soon. Very delusional, mate, Louis. I'm telling you, very delusional supporters.
Yeah. Stick with it. We'll get there.
Yeah. A question from myself. I got this question from the Ben and Harry podcast. So someone put in a question saying, we see players bring backpacks to games now, but what would you bring to a game?
Well, is it bring what?
What would you pack in your backpack to bring to a game?
Oh, they just so you cut out that again, Henry. They're bringing backpacks to games. What would I bring?
Yeah. What would be in your backpack for a game?
Oh, mate, that's the thing. Players are very sport, right? You don't need to bring anything, really. You need to bring a towel to have a shower, or your boots if they're not already there. So players are very spoilt. So, mate, in reality, all those players are rocking up with an empty bag, I would say. They'll have a towel and a spare pair of jocks or something, and that's about it. Everything else is provided. Everything else is brought for you. So it's very lucky, very spoiled.
Well said. How is life at a footy back?
Life post footy, was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been really good, mate. So, as I touched on before, I've got a couple of boys that are 5 and 2, basically. So they kept me busy at home, and then I've got a building company that I've started in Melbourne. So it's been going for a few years now and going really well, and I'm really enjoying the challenges that come with that. So life post footy is great. I'm really enjoying everything that I'm doing at the moment. It would be a little bit better if the Blues were winning more, but otherwise, no, life is great post footy.
That's great. And our last question is, lastly, have you got any questions for us?
Look, I don't, boys, but I think well done and good work for doing these podcasts, and obviously you got a bit of an audience out there that's listening to you, and so not so much a question, but well done for having a crack and putting your passion out there in a podcast and and having a crack at it, guys. So well done.
Thank you. Definitely a lot more to come.
Good stuff.
And that does wrap up episode 23. So, as I said at the start of the podcast, I'll say it again, massive thank you to you, Sam, for coming on. It's probably definitely the start of something on this channel. So,
No, that's
yeah,
good,
thank
guys.
you.
If you need me to hassle some other guys, let me know, and I'll hassle them and make sure they get back to you if you're trying to get someone on. So that'll be
Thanks, Sam.
no, my pleasure. So thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Go Blues.
Go the
Yeah.
Blues.